man fatally shot a baby and a grandmother to death in a supermarket before taking his own life in a murder-suicide. The incident occurred on the 10th of June. It all began when a 69-year-old grandmother and a 1-year-old boy entered the Royal Palm Beach, Florida Publix grocery store at 11:07 a.m. At 11:29 a.m., 55-year-old Timothy Wall arrived at the store using a red scooter. He then walked inside the complex wearing all black, including dark sunglasses and a black hat with a golf club putter in one hand which he used as a cane. At 11:30 a.m., the grandmother and the grandson entered the produce section of the store. Wall followed a minute later and was looking towards the victims. At 11:34 a.m., the woman stepped away from her shopping cart for a moment to get an item. Wall then approached the boy and pulled out a handgun and fired a single round, killing the child in the shopping cart. The gun then jammed for a moment and a struggle ensued between Wall and the grandmother, who was eventually thrown to the ground before he shot her. After killing his victims, he then turned the gun on himself and suicided. The authorities received the first calls about shots fired at 11:35 a.m. By the time they arrived at the crime scene, they found both victims and the shooter dead. Wall had been seen in the store 2 hours earlier, where he approached people but then turned away after spotting a police officer. The authorities later learned that Wall had posted a message on Facebook expressing a desire to kill people and children. Wall divorced in 2018 and declared bankruptcy earlier this year. Wall's ex-wife's family said he was suffering a mental illness and he was acting strange and he thought he was being followed. They said they tried to get him help but no one's listened. The shooting appears to have been a random attack, as there's no known relationship between the gunman and the victims, whose names have remained anonymous. 42-year-old LaTonya Austin has been charged with murder for the death of her 2-year-old granddaughter in May. Austin was arrested about a month ago and had her charges upgraded on the 10th of June to include assault and murder, in addition to previous charges of gross abuse of corpse and tampering with evidence. After Zayla Lee's body was found on Austin's property, located in the 2200 block of Schrodinger Avenue in South Fairmont in Cincinnati, Ohio. On the 9th of April, Austin viciously struck Zayla in the head, causing her to die from blunt force trauma. She then tried concealing her lifeless body by putting it in multiple trash bags and stuffing it into a cooler, causing a deep laceration near her hip and breaking her right arm. The authorities were summoned to Austin's home on the 8th of May after receiving an anonymous phone call that claimed there was a deceased child on the premises. Deputies located a toddler's body inside a cooler in Austin's garage, and after questioning her, she admitted that the young girl had been dead for a month. Austin initially blamed another child in her home for her granddaughter's death, claiming that the unidentified kid shook her up and cut her up with scissors. At the time, Austin had custody of the 2 children and her grandchildren. The remaining 3 children in her care have been placed in temporary custody. Austin has been placed on a $500,000 bond, and if she's convicted on all charges, she could face life in prison.